Hi everyone, welcome to Anu's classroom. So in today's video, as the title suggests, we are going to have a quick revision on the important topics on MMPC 1 management functions and organizational processes. Okay, so the purpose of this video is actually to discuss on all the important questions, or you can say I've collected questions from the past around 5 to 6 years question papers I went through. I've collected all the questions and we are going to see how we can tackle these questions to get marks. Okay, so that is the aim of this video. So all these past 5 to 6 years question papers we will be discussing over here. Almost maximum I have tried to include these questions. So we will be quickly going through what are the important points you will have to write down. Okay, so let's get started. So these are the questions. So we'll go one by one. There are a couple of questions which have been found to be repeating over and over in over the years. Okay, so we will read out the question and then we'll see what all things to be included in it. This is not, we are not going to go in depth into each of those points, explanations and all. We will not be covering in this video. Please bear with me because of our time constraints, right? I don't want to make this video very lengthy, neither I want to skip any important points. Okay, so this is purely from your term and examination point of view. So let's get started. The first question is, explain in detail the features of planning and the steps involved in the planning process in organizations. Then it goes to ask us to discuss the importance of planning function in an organization with relevant examples. So a pattern which we can see in each of these questions, they are asking us to give examples. So this is one pattern that you can expect in IGNOU term and examinations. Any question will come up with asking for your examples. Okay, so even if they don't ask, it is a good idea to supplement your answers with examples, because first and foremost it will increase your answer size, and second it will give your examiners an idea that okay, this person has an idea of what we are asking them to study about. Okay, it serves two purposes. And the next important thing I want to stress on is underline the important points, give headings and write down, because as you can imagine, right, IGNOU is an open university. There are maybe even lakhs of people studying, right, and giving exams every term and examination, and there is a constraint, there is a pressure on the invigilators to give out results on time, right? So I don't expect any of them to go through each and every line. Most probably I believe it is going to be an answer skimming. So the easier you make it for the invigilator to get the concept from your answers, the easier it will be to score marks, right? So that is why I'm saying your answers, divide them into sections, arrange them logically, underline the sections, and demarcate the end of each answer. Preferably start a new answer from a new page, right? So things like that. Do write your answers in such a way that it becomes easy for your invigilator to correct your answer paper. That surely will get you some, some brownie points, I would say. So coming to our question, what are the features of planning? What all? It is goal oriented, it is all pervasive, it is a continuous process. Planning is a continuous process. And why do we plan for? We plan for looking ahead, right? Plan is always to move forward, looking ahead, what should we do, right? It is an intellectual function, it is the primary function of management. We plan for efficiency, and plans are always changeable, they are all flexible. So those are the features of planning. So you can give a, what you can say, you can explain each of those features a little bit. Okay, according to what you understand from those features, why is it important? The next part of the question is asking for the steps involved in planning. So what all will be the steps? First and foremost, we have to analysis, then we have to establish our objectives, then we have to determine the planning premises, identify what all alternatives are available with us, evaluate those alternatives, and then from all the alternatives we will select the best alternative, and then we implement it, and we constantly review the plan to know whether we have to do any changes in the upcoming plans or in the upcoming stages of the plans, right? So those are the steps involved in planning. If you can also, along with writing them, what you can say as bullet points or something, if you can represent it in a diagrammatic way, like some kind of a flow chart, it would be much better, because a picture speaks 1,000 words. Whenever possible, try to complement your answers with associated pictures or diagrams, flow charts, something which will give a summary or a gist of the what you're trying to say, what you're trying to write in this whole paragraph to the examiners. If you can do that, you will surely get marks for those. Okay, so uh, now we know the features of planning and all the steps that are involved in the planning process. Next, they are asking us to discuss the importance of planning function in an organization with relevant examples. So if you have an experience working in an organization, definitely you can quote one of those examples, or you can make up your own examples from whatever, from some ad hoc or some imaginary situation that could arise. Okay, so that is the second part. So this part, it's purely your imagination, the discussing the importance of planning function with example. So what they're asking you to is actually give them an example of how things were better with planning. Okay, how you can uh, make some situation better or more efficient with planning, right? So that is the first question. The second question is asking us to asking for what is the concept of staffing in an organization. Describe and discuss how directing is important component of managerial function, giving examples. Okay, so here we are talking about staffing in an organization. So what is staffing? Staffing is manning. Another word for staffing is manning, right? So why are we doing staffing? What is the concept behind it? To obtain personals that fit a job role, to promote optimum utilization of all the human resources. Job satisfaction will increase if right person is selected for the right job. It ensures continuity and growth of organizations, ensures efficient performance of other functions, effective use of technology and other resources, development of human capital. It is a people centered process, it is a continuous process. You will have to keep on staffing, keep on rotating your staff, and to maintain your organization running smoothly, right? So that is the concept of staffing. Now we are asked to again give an example and discuss and describe how directing is an important component of managerial function. So what is directing? You can write down what is directing and why is it important. Like, it initiates action, it integrates employees efforts, right? So the functions of management, that is the first thing that we study when we open MMPC 1, that is planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling, right? These are the 5 functions of management, right? And they have a star relationship with each other, correct? So directing is what? Directing is motivating and communicating leadership, supervision, etc., right? We are giving a direction. We plan, that is we prepare for future action. Then we organize, that is we define responsibilities and authority. Then we staff, that is find the right people for the right job. And then we direct those people in towards achieving our goals, right? And wherever necessary, we control them, that is we set the goals or targets, making sure that there are no deviations from our plan. So that is the whole concept of management operations or managerial functions. So naturally, directing will initiate the action, it will integrate employees efforts, it will guide employees to realize their potential, it facilitates a change and brings stability and balance in the organization. Now all these things related to staffing and directing, you can give your own examples and fill the gap. Okay, now describe. The next question is, I'm really sorry, I have to rush through because we have a lot of questions. I've planned a lot of questions. Okay, and this is aimed at refreshing all your whatever you have studied in MMPC 1. Okay, this is in no way an in-depth tutorial, this we are brushing up, this is a quick revision class. Okay, so what is the meaning? Okay, the third question, what describe the techniques that are used in the different steps of decision making, and discuss how one can overcome barriers to have effective decision making in an organization. Again, they are asking us to give examples. So, what are the techniques that we can use in decision making? Brainstorming, cost benefit analysis, affinity diagram, right? Mind maps, conjoint analysis, that is SWOT analysis or PEST analysis, paired comparison analysis or multiple criteria decision analysis, Pareto analysis, root cause analysis, stakeholder analysis, right? Who should be involved in the decision making process and why, all those things. Those are the different techniques. And what are the different steps that can come in decision making? Identify the problem, collect the information, identify alternative, weigh the evidence, choose from alternatives, implement the action, evaluate results, right? So the next part of the question is asking us how we can overcome the barriers to have effective decision making in our organization. So first, to write down how we can overcome, we have to write down what are the barriers, right? So what are the barriers? Tendency to evaluate before investigation, that is jumping to conclusion, equating old and new experiences, use available solutions, then consider a new innovative one, deal with problems at face value or direct decisions towards a single goal, confuse with the symptoms and problems, overlook unsolvable problems, right? And instead concentrate on simpler concerns. There is a tendency to respond automatically, that is to act before we think, right? So these are some of the few barriers that inhibit effective decision making. Now we can say how we can overcome those barriers. A few methods would be: each member should critically evaluate the problem. We have to encourage open inquiry and impartial probing of alternatives. We have to compare solutions of different groups for the same solution, and we have to seek advice from outside wings before finalizing on our solutions. Members should be encouraged to challenge the views of other members, challenge majority position, decide feasibility and effectiveness of alternatives through independent discussions, schedule multiple meetings to rethink and express doubts before finalizing. Okay, so these are not, if you uh, these are not new concepts. Actually, these are concepts that come up every time there is a barrier and you try to overcome it. If you think a little bit deeper, right, you will understand that these overcoming barriers are kind of repetitive. We are just reframing it in different ways, but it is in general like group participation, encouragement, and give a open space. Okay, give open space, make your team members comfortable, ask them to participate, evaluate everything, and don't jump to conclusions. These are things that we have been, it is there in our culture. These are things that we have been up brought also. Like, even if you think about how our parents solve problems, you would find that some way or the other these things all come up. Okay, so just give it a simple thought. Simply just thinking about it, you will know how to write these things. Okay, these are not very absolutely new concepts to us. And then again, you can give some examples. If you are working, again, you can give something from your own life, or you can make up something. Okay, the fourth question is, what is the meaning of organizational culture, and explain the role of culture in strengthening an organization. We are being asked to discuss the traits required for a good organizational culture. So, what is organizational culture? It is the proper way to behave within an organization, and it consists of shared values and beliefs that are established by leaders and communicated and reinforced through various methods, which ultimately shape the employee perceptions and behaviors and understanding. Now, a few determinants of organizational culture would be the technology, the beliefs, attitudes, behavior of people, the ethical norms, organizational structure, all these things. And a few dimensions of the organizational culture would be outcome orientation, people orientation, team orientation, innovation and risk taking, attention to detail, aggressiveness, stability, all those things. Now, a few traits of good organizational culture would be good communication, growth opportunities, collaboration culture. There should be reward systems and strong purpose and core values. So those were the four questions, each carrying 20 marks. Then the fifth question is actually a short note question, where it is asking us to write short notes on any three of the following. Okay, but we will discuss all these five. Okay, so the first one is turnaround management. What is turnaround management? So, turnaround management is actually a restructuring and renewal of a company in order to revive it. Okay, it is used when the company is under financial pressure, or when it is struggling to keep up with competition, and it has to begin before it becomes too late. A few steps in turnaround management could be defining an analysis of the problem, the scope and the strategy, link and action. Then we have to implement and review. So accordingly, according to how you understand it, you can expand it. Okay, so the next one is organizational ethics. So organizational ethics is, in short, ethics of an organization. That is how an organization responds to an internal or external stimulus, right? It is independent with it is interdependent with the organizational culture as well. Next is, what is centralization and what is decentralization. So centralization means the entire power is concentrated in the hands of senior management. But decentralization is like a top down delegation of power and authority to functional level management. So that is like the entire power is not centered in, or it is not concentrating in one hand. So you can think of it as like centralization is kind of like a monarchy system, whereas decentralization is kind of like a democracy, almost. Okay, so like in India, the judiciary system is there, then there's the parliament, like all those different systems are there, and it is not that any one of this is above everything. Some concept like that is not there. But in monarchy, the king is everything, like the monarch is everything. So that is centralization versus decentralization. So naturally, if it is centralization, we'll have very quick decision making, right? Because everything is concentrated in one hand. So what they make a decision, done, right? But decentralizations, there will be a very slow decision making process because it has to go through, right? So that is there, difference is there. Then centralization means there is a proper leadership and coordination, because that is there. It is just concentrated on one hand, right? But it is best in such cases for small scale organizations. So when you think about startups and all, you can be almost sure that it is going to be a centralized organization. Very rarely do we see a decentralized startups. Okay. But decentralization is best for large scale organizations, because otherwise by the time you get something done, it is going to be very huge, like, right? If there are lakhs of employees in an organization, things are going to be very difficult, correct? So it offers sharing of responsibilities and workload in such cases when it is decentralized. What if you have to make sure, if CEO has to cater to all these people, okay, if it is just the CEO, then it's going to be very difficult, right? So that is centralization versus decentralization. The next one is managerial grid theory. So what is managerial grid theory? It is a self-assessment tool actually, which is used by individuals and organizations to help identify a manager's or a leader's style. So accordingly, we have 5 different styles. Okay, impoverished, produce or perish style, middle of the road, country club. That is what you can say, more of a people oriented, right? And then team. That is the most effective of the 5 grid possibilities. So for this managerial grid theory, we can, like, draw a graph where one is people and the other is task. Okay, we can draw 2 axes. Okay, now if your manager is least concerned about the people but most concerned about the task, okay, the maximum what you can say, the concern of your employer is on the task should finish, then that is a task management leader. Okay, so if that kind of a leader is called a task management leader. Then if the manager is mostly concerned with the people and very less concerned about the task, then it is kind of like a country club management. Okay, because they are most importantly focusing on how people can be satisfied at the cost of a task. So that is also good, not good. Okay, so if your manager is neither concerned with the task nor with the people, then it is an impoverished management. They just don't want to involve in anything, they're just staying away. It is kind of like, it is like, it's not there, the management itself is not there, then it is an impoverished state. Then there are people managers who are concerned about the task and the people at the same time. That is the team oriented one. Okay, that is the best. Okay, so right. So the next one is there. The next question is asking us to discuss with an example about what we understand about this line. Okay, there can be no control without a plan, and plans cannot be successfully implemented in the absence of controls. So again, you can write down the star, this thing. Every managerial function or organizational process starts with planning and ends with controlling, right? So and then you can tell about what you understand by this. So without plan, or without a way of without having a road ahead, we will not know where to go to reach our goal, right? So therefore planning is important. But even when we have plan without adequate control, if people don't stay on the track and people wander off, then there is no purpose in having a plan. Therefore controlling is also important. So accordingly, like, how you understand, or how you understand what planning is, what controlling is, and why they should work in harmony, that you can write down with an example. Okay, the next question is describe and discuss the dimensions and determinants of organizational culture, right? So the dimensions we already discussed, as well as the determinants also we had discussed in the previous question. So I'm not repeating it. We are skipping to the next question. Briefly discuss the reasons for changes to be undertaken by an organization by citing suitable examples. So again, it is asking us for example. Yeah, so what are the reasons for change in an organization? More it to make it a more fulfilling and attractive workplace, to give a better employee experience, better project outcomes, lower project costs, decrease in employees' resistance towards the changes in the organizations, greater employee satisfaction, efficient business process, higher profit margin, competitive edge, better customer experience, more desirable work culture, ability to adapt to change, all those things. Okay, so you can write and give your own examples. The next is what is delegation, and explain the problems encountered in delegation and the prerequisites to be considered for effective delegation. So, what is delegation? Delegation is the assignment of authority to another person, right? We are delegating authority to another person to carry out specific activities. What all could be the barriers? Ego, time, accountability, skill gap, authority threat. Like if I give them this authority, will they overtake me? That threat could be there, right? That could be a real barrier that could prevent somebody from delegating authority. And some of the problems in delegation could be like overconfidence of the superior, like yeah, this guy will do it, but then that guy may not be apt for that role. So that overconfidence could be there. There could be a lack of confidence of the subordinate, lack of proper control, personal attitudes, ineptitude of the supervisor or the subordinate, lack of ability to direct, fear of criticism, lack of information or resources, overburdening with work, inadequate planning and policy formation. All these things are problems in delegation. Now, how can we effectively delegate? There should be first and foremost a willingness to delegate. There should be a climate of trust and confidence. There should be a faith in subordinates by superiors and by themselves, subordinates themselves. And there should be a fear of superiors also of getting overtaken. Okay, so those are that fear of supervisors of getting overtaken should be eliminated. Then only they will be able to effectively delegate. Then those are the effective delegation prerequisites, and you can cite your own examples. Okay. Uh, the next is again a short note. They're asking only to write on 3, but they'll give you more than 3 options. So choose wisely. Okay. And whatever you feel you're confident and you can write most, choose those 3. Okay. So anyway, we will be discussing all these 5. So the first one is effective communication. So what is effective communication? Process of exchanging ideas, thoughts, opinions, knowledge and data so that message is received and understood with clarity and purpose, right? So we have the whole MMPC 7 which deals with business communication and how to make it effective and all sorts of things. You can absolutely borrow your ideas from that subject and write down what you understand. Short note on effective communication. Nobody will stop you. Okay, and you will get marks also, no issues. Management by, so the next one is management by objectives, that is MBO. This is an important concept. In case you guys have not gone through it, please, I suggest you go through it, because we have found that almost all these years there is something or the other that relates to this management by objectives. So what is management by objectives? It is a management of business that is based on the needs and goals, that is objectives of the business. It is tailored to meet the needs of today's fast growing businesses and fast paced work environments. Now, the objectives of MBO, it is like making proper use of available resources, ensuring business development and growth, quality products and services, availability of goods and services, ensuring workplace discipline, attracting best candidates for the job, making futuristic plans, reducing risk, coordination, promoting research and business goals, all those things. Okay. Features of MBO, again, superior subordinate participation, quantifiable goals, focus on what must be done, effective results, consistent support from superiors. A few advantages could be like planning, there is employee involvement, we can have measurable goals, we can have improved communication, better employee evaluation, career development, improved company performance, regular feedback and all those things. But it also comes with a few disadvantages like focus on short term goals, time and paperwork is more dependent on managerial skill, there is a limited goal type, and there is a possible inflexibility that could come up, and it requires acceptance at all levels of the organizations. Now, why do we need this MBO? It is because it helps employees understand their duties at workplace. Employees are very clear about what is expected from them. It avoids job mismatches and unnecessary communication and thus increases job satisfaction. It molds highly motivated and committed employees as well. The next is Johari window. So Johari window has been coming up on and off in different years. Okay, so it is good that you, if you can get the concept, it is good that you know it. So this Johari window is actually a technique that is designed to help people better understand their relationship with themselves and others. Okay, so the first time, when I was studying during my MBA days, when I heard this Johari window, I was like, it feels like some cropping cycle window or something. Okay, but it is absolutely nothing related to that, obviously. So Johari window is actually a technique, okay, that helps us understand our position, okay, about how our relationship is with ourselves and the others also. So it is like they have divided again into four different behavioral or relationship styles. The first is open. So the open area includes all those aspects of us as an individual that is known for others, okay, known to others. Then there is a hidden area where those are traits, our traits or individuals behavior or things that are unknown to others, but it is known to us. Okay, we know it about us, but others don't know about us. Open is what everybody knows about us. Hidden is what we know but nobody else knows about us. Then there is a blind spot. So the blind spot is things that others perceive about us. Okay, others know about us, but we never understood it about ourselves. Like for example, if a person is a narcissist, others who surround that person would definitely know that that person is a narcissist, but that person themselves may not realize that they are narcissistic in behavior, right? So that is a blind area. So there are blind areas which are unknown to self but known to others, and then there is an unknown area which is unknown to self and others, nobody knows. Okay, it is a part of us which neither do we realize nor others see. Okay, so those are the four segments of human interaction. That is what Johari window or Johari model says. So the aim of this Johari model is actually to increase the size of this open area without disclosing too much personal information about yourself, and decrease the size of this hidden and unknown areas. Okay, so that is the goal of the Johari model. Okay, so the next is coercive power. So coercive power is nothing but a formal power source where influencing agents use some kind of a threat or force to gain compliance from the targets of influence. And the force could be like social, emotional, or physical, or economic, and it is not always recognized by the targets, right? So, like for example, there could be a threat, okay, in your department, which like for example, if you don't do this job properly, maybe you might get demoted or you may result in a pay cut, right? If the situation is bad right now, there is a lot of news about how the economy is starting to crash, and also there is a looming threat amongst all the people who are working that there could be layoffs coming up or there could be terminations, all those things. So we have to work hard, like, so those kinds of threats, or those kinds of what you can say. So now most probably in organizations, so employers also would be trying to use those threats to get more work done or to exploit their employees. There is a pattern like that, it happens. So it is like they're using those agents of threat to gain compliance now. Okay, so that is coercive power. Then the last one is decision making. So what is decision making? It is choosing a course of action after considering all the different options to accomplish an organization's goals, right? Now, what are the barriers of effective decision making? The level of decision making may not be clear. There could be a lack of time or reliable data. Risk taking ability could be less. There might be too many options or inadequate support. Lack of resources could happen, and there could be an inability to change or adapt to change. So those are the different barriers to effective decision making. So you can write down what all you understand about decision making. Okay, so I actually have a lot more questions, okay, that we have yet to discuss, that I will discuss in another video. Okay, so I hope you found this session useful. If you did, let me know through your likes and comments, and we will discuss more on the important questions that have been coming up. Okay, and I will do this, I will try to do this for all the subjects. I'll try to cover maximum number of subjects as possible before your exam starts. Okay, so all the best, do well. Thank you.